Let us make it of this particular way so that people that are joining online could see every participant. And for all participants that just coming, that doesn't have a patient, please, have you got the question? Please let's give all participants that they have patient. And if you have patient, please try and done. For all participants, please try and patient if you have.
Times that you not here, all the clubs in
Hello.
broke my heart and good.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like that. All right. So thank you for coming out for today's program. Half of our speakers already on ground, and some are already on their way, and they will join us very soon. So let's just do a small recap of what we were able to learn yesterday, right? I like recap a lot. That different of like look at after I grow up exercise a day before, then they tell you to reflect. All right, so I just want some few volunteers who will just tell us what we've been able to learn yesterday. And for some people who are just coming in for the first time today, we'll just do a quick introduction of what we are doing first. All right, so this wonderful organization called POP, not Plaster of Paris, but Protect Our Planet, right? So I find it very interesting that for us to be good climate action ambassadors, there's a need for us to be educated in how to do things in the proper way, right? And that's why the village is led 30 young and vibrant youth, amazing climate action ambassadors in Ogun State. I know they have a lot of projects across Nigeria, but this is the one for the state. So, and the project we started yesterday, and we had a series of wonderful sessions, which I would love our participants to tell us what the highlights of what they're able to learn from yesterday's session. Before we start today's workshop fully. So once again, let me introduce myself. My name is Emmanuel Paladino. I like to call me Nico. So when you are doing yours, please let us know your name and tell us what you've been able to learn in this program started yesterday. All right. So I have two hands. I have three hands, but I'll be a little bit partial, right? Because as an SDG ambassador, I know there's a particular goal that we are all talking about. Without that goal, no other goal can be achieved. And that goal is to fight. Who can tell me what that goal is very well? Gender equality. And they say men first before women are this. I'm just asking you. Just asking. So men first after women. So that's why I'm saying I'm going to be a little bit partial. Now, the men who raise up their hands, you can hear now by yourself. men first after women. So I'll be calling the first female who is up at hand to tell us what I did. Thank you.
Yesterday, I was able to get from the first speaker who was talking about how some people have tend to bypass their faith to harvest trees that they said we should not harvest. And also the doctor from Kina, she talked about planting, that when you're planting trees, you should be specific about the species of the tree. That you don't just plant any tree, and if you're selling it to people that you should plant trees, don't just tell them that it will be good for them to be, give them the benefit, sell the benefit to them. And also, the father, okay, we talked about the SDG, we talked about the power of women, things like that way. And also, the last speaker, Ogwama, talked about the recycling and what Ogwama has been doing and intends to do in the state.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. All right, so let's now move to men after we.
My name is Brian. Without equivocation, I would like to commend the speakers of this, to be honest with you. Know the information. And what I would like to say to us and to explain this to this this morning, there is this apology that says that knowledge is power, but it's actually a distorted belief. Knowledge is not power. It is the application of knowledge that brings about empowerment. So the question I want to ask us is the information we got yesterday. What are we going to do about it? So it was actually a loaded session, most especially from the bishop. And yesterday I learned so many things, especially with regards to recycling of waste. Because it is very ideal for us to know that we as human beings, the environment is very, very crucial, very important. And there are some things we do as humans in the environment that are detrimental to our health. So he was talking about the recycling of waste like plastic, and that this waste, of course, they are not degradable, and so it should be recycled. And also, instead of trying to litter the whole environment, when this waste is being recycled, you can use it for so many things, such as clothes and other things. So the doctor that spoke yesterday was saying that, okay, the representative from Ghana was saying that what we are seeing is waste, but what he is seeing is wealth. So it's waste for wealth. So it is very, very vital that we take this thing seriously and to be an advocate of the management of our environment. Thank you.
My name is Adi. Yesterday, the speakers actually to everything continues to be yesterday. I learned from these Obama people, and then the issue of you see waste, you see well, is actually key. Because over time, people just do things around all these beds, whatever. So all around, and then I was made to realize that these things can actually turn to wealth. So, and then also, Father said something yesterday that when you see the problem, when you see the challenges, your English, your vocabulary cannot solve it. You need to get to where you can make policy. You need to get to where that you can make law, in which all these things are actually governed by policy. Then, if you want to get involved in politics, get influence among them. He said something that if we want to carry out any project, we want to carry out any project, we must make sure that there is a law and policy that back it up. Once there is no law, once there is no policy that back it up, then you fight for it. So it's actually an awesome moment yesterday. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Good morning once again, everybody. So we are about to start the program fully. And before we do that, I would just like to invite our other guests and speakers to come to the IT. So I would like to welcome our speaker who is representing the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture in the person of Dr. Abiola Otedo. We have our SA Governor on Environment is coming on his way. We are actually sent people to come down to represent him here. To keep watching before he arrives, how the proceeding is going. Please, I would like to celebrate them here. They are sitting down here. Please, a round of applause. And last but not least, I would like to welcome our amiable senior personnel that just came in. He has been a father to us. He has been an undergraduate student, and he has been mentoring us in social development and issues, and trying to model what the United Nations is doing. So we have our new source in the person of Ambassador the United Nations Information Center Officer. This is one of our. All right. So before you walk in, sir, we've just been trying to do a little recap about what we learned yesterday, and all right, so we are just trying to do a recap of what we learned yesterday, and before the proceeding starts fully, I would also like our ambassador to also get to hear what our trainees have been learning yesterday before we start the program fully. So I know some of us have been talking about what we learned yesterday, but I would just like to also do a recap of it for our ambassador to also hear what we have been doing so far. So I need some volunteers. All right, thank you very much. My name is Ade Adeyemi. Yesterday is actually an awesome moment, and then the Obama representative were here, and then we're told that we see waste, and then they actually see wealth. So which implies there is a way we can turn our waste to wealth. And then also we talk about afforestation yesterday. So that is a kind of project of 1 house, 1 tree, and then how we can have trees in our environment so as to actually prevent erosion, fire, break, and some other things. And then also, Father said something that is key yesterday. He said something about if you want to carry out any project, you must make sure that the project is having a policy and is also having a law that is backing it up. So, and then if there is no law and policy, we must fight for it. And then how can we fight for it? He said we must ensure that if there is, we see a problem, we see a means of having a change, then we need to get to a place like a political setting to get involved and influence our society. Thank you very much. All right, thank you so much for that. A round of applause. I would like a female to also tell us what you've been able to learn yesterday. Okay.
Okay. Yesterday was really a wonderful experience for me, and I'm sure a lot of us will testify to that. So, there's this quote by from you. People who do not sustain trees will soon live in a world which cannot sustain people. Dr. Yasua, she mentioned that, and she said that tree planting is one of the key things we can use to restore back our climate. And she put us through different processes and procedures in how we can plant trees and some other projects like that. So Father said something yesterday. He said that in all these goals, we need each other. He made key mention of partnership, that without one person, we cannot achieve it. We can achieve these goals together. That means we should work hand in hand. And also, there are a lot of things, but that I can still recall for now.
All right, thank you so much. A round of applause for her. So the way we have arranged our speaker for this event is so that everybody can speak and build foundation. While when other speakers come, they build on that foundation. And one major reason why we brought Father Ngoya yesterday is to make us to understand the place of partnership and collaboration as young people. Him being one of the leaders of civil society organization in Nigeria. And I believe as we stand now, every one of us have a good understanding of why it's very important for us to partner in wherever stage we are working on to achieve goals. And this morning, our speaker in the person of Ambassador Soichwe speaking on the topic we are giving to him, which talks about youth and sustainable development goals. Now, why did we invite Ambassador Soichwe? The one of the reasons is because Agenda 2030 is not talking about ourselves, right? Because by 2030, most of the people we have in power might have gone to the land of no return, right? But for all the young people, that is where we are going to be in our prime. And if we don't start engaging in developing our society as at now, when we get to 2030, it might be late for us to do something meaningful. And the moment we start doing this, we'll also be able to pass it down to the next generation. So with a sounding ovation and round of applause, please welcome Ambassador Soichwe. Team lead, protecting climate initiative. Please, thank you very much. First of all, let me say something. I'm not an ambassador. I know you are trying to be so nice. Simply to be sure and everything. And you also want to be nice and say doctor. The topic is youth and sustainable development is quite up at this time. And we are so glad as the United Nations that some youth have come together to protect the planet. Before I do further information, I work with the United Nations Information Center, UNIC, in Nigeria. We are based in Lagos, and that Lagos office is the only office of the United Nations Information Center in Nigeria. And what do we do at the UN Information Center? We are the information or communication arm of the entire UN system. The UN Information Center UNIC is a field office of the Department of Global Communication,
at the UN headquarters in New York, the Secretariat in New York. So we are, if you like, as Federal Ministry of Information is to the Federal Government of Nigeria, so is the Department of Global Communication, and by implication, the United Nations Information Center is to the United Nations. In Nigeria, we simplify the UN messages to the understanding of Nigeria, irrespective of where they are located. How do we do this? We translate key documents and policy papers of the United Nations into the different languages. For instance, the Sustainable Development Goals, all the 17 goals, and as well as the 169 targets have been translated into Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. We also went a step further. It translated into Pidgin English. So we carry out excursion, outreach activities in schools, secondary schools, as well as universities. And we encourage schools to carry out excursions to our office in Lagos. Many schools, they organize excursion to the United Nations Premises office in Lagos. And this is not restricted to the secondary school alone, the universities, especially the Department of International Relations, Political Science, International Law, and allied disciplines. They do come on excursions to our office in Lagos. Beyond this, we engage with civil society, as we are doing today with POC. We engage with media, have media outreach activities. So we do a lot in the realm of communication and information. Today, we are talking about sustainable development goals. How many of us, of course, I know I'm speaking to the cover, but is there anyone who hasn't come across the SDGs? Anyone? You all know about sustainable development goals. Is that correct? Yes. And you are aware of the 5 P, right? Yes. What are they? Prosperity. Of course, you won't forget planet, because that is your area of focus. So, I'm so glad that you are focusing on the planet, how to protect the planet. This has wide range implications because it has implications on the environment, it has implications on the climate. We are talking about climate action. You are taking a giant step in protecting the planet, in responding to climate change and then climate action. When I'm sure all of you, probably all of you are aware of COP26 that is coming up in Glasgow. Are you aware? That conference of parties on climate change. It's taking place in Glasgow, Scotland in November, starting 31st October to early November. This is where all advocates, the member states of the United Nations will be converging to talk about the climate change, to talk about climate action. What can we do collectively to protect the climate? But beyond what we can do collectively to protect the climate, you know, the Sustainable Development Goals was adopted in 2015 by member states of the United Nations. And the SDGs took effect in terms of implementation from January 2016. 5 years have gone. So we are in the last 10 years of implementation. The United Nations has started these last 10 years as the decade of action. That is, these last 10 years in the implementation of sustainable development goals, we must take action. And not just that, we must mobilize action at in the collective level as well as individual level. Let me just go to my notes. So with just 10 years to go, the United Nations has launched the Decade of Action, an ambitious global effort to deliver the 2030 promise by mobilizing more governments, civil society, businesses, and calling on all people to make the global goals their own. A 10-year-old student today will be 20 years old by 2030. A 15-year-old student will be 25 years old by 2030. The implication of this reality is that the future of our children is shaped by our commitment or otherwise to the SDGs today. Therefore, we cannot afford to fold our arms, doing little or nothing. Everyone has a role to play in the achievement of the SDGs by 2030. As individuals, as a school, as a community, a religious organization, a private sector organization, a civil society organization, and of course, as individuals. The decade of action will mobilize everyone, everywhere, demand urgency and ambition, and supercharge ideas to solutions. I was so glad when Emmanuel was speaking and the gentleman there, as well as the young lady there, trying to recap what happened yesterday. They all spoke about individual actions. They spoke about how you can plant trees. You don't need a community to plant trees. You don't need an association to plant trees. All you need is your individual commitment and resolve to say, yes, I want to plant a tree. Maybe a tree in a month. I'm just using that as an example. So action towards the SDGs require innovation. Getting the young boys and young girls on board the SDG train demands innovative ideas that will interest them, and by extension, that will interest their parents. In Nigeria, the last 5 years have been quite interesting and also fulfilling for us as UN Information Center when it comes to our actions to push further to the front burner of public discourse and also ensure that young boys and girls instill the spirit of sustainable development. So in our quest to leave no one behind, we have developed and produced the braille version of the 17 goals and the 169 targets for the inclusion of the blind. We understand that this was the first in the world at the time. We translated, as I mentioned, all the goals and targets into major languages. We implemented, or rather, we carried out a campaign in Lagos and also in Ogun State with the support of the Ogun State government, a competition called Arts for SDG. This competition was aimed at getting students in public schools and private schools in Ogun State to explain or demonstrate their understanding of the Sustainable Development Goals in artistic form, whether in drawing or in poetry, or in drama. And we received very creative responses from our students. In 2016, we also ensured that the theme of the Model United Nations conferences organized by schools in Nigeria were rooted in the model, in the Sustainable Development Goals. How many of us are aware of Model United Nations, Model UN? Oh, you are aware of model UN? Or which one? Which one? Okay. 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 Well, for the benefit of some of us who are not aware of what Model United Nations is, Model UN is a simulation of how the United Nations works. What do I mean by simulation? You know, United Nations is a member state organization. When I say member states, I mean countries, sovereign countries of the world. You know, because the United Nations is made up of sovereign nations of the world. So, and we have what we call the General Assembly of the United Nations. At the General Assembly, we will have representatives of all the sovereign countries. And each of them has a vote, irrespective of their size or influence. So at the General Assembly, the way the General Assembly, for instance, works, how they debate, how they come up with resolutions that is unanimously, as you want to say, but resolutions reached by consensus. How do they reach consensus? 193 countries agreeing on one resolution. You know, it could be tough because all these countries have their different foreign policies. For them to be able to shift ground, for them to be able to look and get a common ground, for them to be able to negotiate and reach a consensus, it takes a lot. So these are the things the students, the youth, simulate. So we train them on how to carry out, how to organize this simulation. And we've been concentrating on university. We have Model United Nations team at Covenant University. We have at Backup University. We have at Obafemi Awolowo University in Ileife. We have at University of Benin. In fact, that happened early this week on Tuesday. We have at University of Abuja. So we are working with different universities and we are open to work with any university that is interested in having a model United Nations. There are conferences going on around the country. So you find students, even from outside the country, attending the model UN in these universities that I've mentioned. You can please Google Model United Nations conferences in Nigeria after this meeting. If some of you, how many of you are still in university? All of you have graduated? Everyone, oh, you're still in the university. Which university? Sorry? An affiliate of which university? Not. Okay. Yes, please. Sorry. Oh, Unilag. We have a Unilag called Elmoon, Lagos Model UN, but it's domiciled in the Faculty of Law. We partner with them. Which course are you studying? Adult. Okay, you are the first people on the right when you enter the main gate. That's the education faculty. So the point I'm making is that even at Unilag, in fact, Unilag is one of the adopters of Model UN. They are the oldest in the entire Southwest in terms of when they started. But because it's domiciled in the Faculty of Law, but it's a multidisciplinary initiative. It's not for a particular discipline. So the point we are making is that this is youth focused,
initiative. And we have ensured as UN Information Center that the theme of model UN conferences in the past 5 years, when the Sustainable Development Goals started running, have been on SDGs. All the themes have been related to SDGs. So if you are interested, you can see many people who have even graduated are still attending Model UN conferences, but it is fine. But at this time, what can you contribute as an individual? You know, I'm coming back to what you can do as an individual. I know they've been training you, you know, on individual action, especially as related to planting of trees. But we'll be looking beyond that today, but basically harping on individual action. The UN has launched the Be the Change initiative. What did I say? Be Change initiative. You can Google that also. You can take note of that and Google UN Be the Change initiative. This initiative provides an opportunity for all of us to better walk the talk when it comes to sustainable development goals. This initiative guides and encourages us to be more sustainable at work and at home by changing our consumption patterns, using active transport, such as cycling, and buying local goods. Did you get that? It's for us to change, some of you are laughing, for us to change our consumption pattern. An example is like using cycling. That's just an example. You can as well walk where you could. Not every time you have to drive your car to where you're going. Or also your consumption patterns like buying local foods. Some of us have developed appetite for foreign goods. What we are saying is that buy local goods. And when we are talking of local goods, it's not necessarily local as in Nigeria. Look for goods in your locality, in your community. Everyone is welcome to participate. Every little step helps. Inform your family, your friends, and your community about simple actions they can take in their daily lives. Individual actions are important. Personal adoption of the SDGs moves us closer to achieving them. You know, I want you to take note of that. Personal action will move us closer to achieving the SDGs. What that means is that do not think that until government, rises to do something, that is when the SDGs can work. No. Don't leave it to government. Don't leave it to organizations. There are things you can do as an individual to achieve the SDG. So if every individual does something, the collective action of those individuals will be very significant. Imagine statistics have it that we have over 200 million people in Nigeria. Imagine if 50% of everyone in Nigeria are carrying out individual actions. It will be very, very significant. Let's even say, let me come back to your action, planting a tree. If every individual, 50% of our population, plant a tree, let's say, even say every year, that's 100 million trees. In the next 10 years, If it's every year, in the next 10 years, you know how many trees that will have been planted? 100 million trees times 10. So, you know, that's a lot. So that is what we are talking about, that individual actions mean a lot. So we don't leave it to government. We don't leave it to organization. We have to take that bold step as individuals. An easy way to start seeing the change is to look at the UN publication, one UN publication titled Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World. Hello? Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World. We are all lazy. We are all lazy persons. So I'm going to provide a tip into that resource. This Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World has looked at what we can do while we are seated in the comfort of our home. When we are on the couch, what can you do? When we are outside, what can you do? When we are in our offices, what can you do? Those are the 3 levels we have. So let's peep into this resource. But before we peep into the Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World, there is another one which is related and is titled 170 Actions. 170 Actions to Transform the World. So what can you contribute even while sitting on your couch? You can save electricity by plugging appliances into a power strip and turning them off completely when not in use. How many of us remember to switch off the lights in our homes this morning before coming? Yes, I'm so glad to hear that. How many of us remember to switch off the sockets before leaving our home? The sockets, the extension box, the socket was on. So this is what we are talking about. When you switch off your lights off, even for a second, for a few seconds, it saves more energy than it takes for the light to start up, regardless of the bulb type, whether it's energy saving bulb or not. Also, stop paper bank statements and pay your bills online or via mobile. No paper, no need for forest destruction. How many of us are still receiving bank statements through our mail? Are still receiving. You don't need it. Because you just tell them you don't need it. They will send it to your email and you can access through your email. You know, when they send to your email, they won't, you can't just click on it and it opens. They will omit some numbers in between of your account number, and when you put that in, then you can access. So these are some of the individual actions we're talking about. Other things you can do at home include air dry. I'm coming back to the ladies in the house. Let your air and clothes dry naturally instead of running a machine. You don't need to use the air dryer. Hello, the women in the house. When you wash your hair, let it dry naturally. You don't need to plug your hair dryer and do it just to dry it. That's an example of an individual action, because by allowing your hair to dry naturally, you are saving energy. If you do wash your clothes, make sure the load is full. You know, when the capacity of the washing machine, every washing machine has the load capacity. If you put just because you have uninterrupted power supply, just new clothes, the one you use today and tomorrow, you just put it in the washing machine and then you are washing. The washing machine will use more energy when the load capacity is not optimal. It will use more energy. That is what is being said. And you can as well help your friends or other occupants in your building or in your flat. Do you have anything to wash? Because what we have discovered, honestly, it happens in my house too. And I've been, of course, I've stopped it. And the children, they wash at different times. Nobody is talking to one another when they want to wash. You find that this one is washing. They say, I also have something to wash. Then after, that one starts washing. No. Pull together, especially when they are not colors that wrong. So that is the point being made here. If you, take short showers, it's another individual action. You know, we are still talking about what you can do to save the world, to save the planet at home. Many of us, because the water runs, you know, we stay 30 minutes, 1 hour in the bathroom, under the shower. Take short shower. Because some of us watch home videos so much, and we have access to bathtubs in our home. You want to fill the bathtubs, dip yourself inside it, and because the last movie you watched, they put flowers inside that water. Maybe the Z world. They put water. Some of our boys are smiling, and the girls. So you use more water when you use the bathtubs. It requires gallons more water than a 5 to 10 minute shower. And eat, I know this could be difficult, less meat, poultry, and fish. More resources are used to provide meat than plants. Then what can you do outside your house? As a young man and young woman, young boys, young girls, things you can do outside your house are to bike, if you have access to it, then or walk or take public transport. What we have then save the car trips for when you've got a big group. You know, in this climate, there is a party, you want to go to a party with friends. Of course, these friends also have cars. Everyone wants to go with his or her car. So what we are saying is that we can pool together. Take 1 or 2 cars that can take the 6 of you instead of everyone riding, because each car will emit carbon dioxide. Each car will still pollute the air. So the less car we have on the road, the better. Now use a refillable water bottle and coffee cup. So what we are saying in essence is that you don't need all this. Have a refillable water bottle, you fill it, you drink, you fill it, you drink. That will reduce plastic waste. That's another individual action. Bring your own bag when you shop. Many of us, when we go to pharmacy shop or the supermarket, we just want to buy a card of paracetamol, which you can buy and actually put in your breast pocket or in your bag. The pharmacy attendant, the attendant there, we want to put just 1 card of paracetamol in a polythene bag for you. Do you really need that polythene bag? No. Putting a card inside the bag, you don't need it. Just take that and put in your pocket. When some of us have some of these nylon bags at home, when you are going to buy certain things, take it along so that you don't need to take another one. At the end of the day, you will still dispose this, and all of this will still end up on the dump site. And you know they are not biodegradable. Most of them are not reusable. So pass on the plastic bags and start carrying your own reusable bag. Maintain your car so that it's not just doing backfire, cool, and then smoking, polluting the environment. A well-tuned car will emit fewer toxic fumes. And also vaccinate yourself and your kids. Protecting your family from disease also aids public health. These are some of the individual actions that you can take. On things you can do at work. Women earn 10 to 30 as a roundup anyway. Women earn 10 to 30% less than men for the same work. Pay inequality persists everywhere. Voice your support for equal pay for equal work. 4 billion people lack access to basic sanitation services. Lend your voice to talk about the lack of toilets in many communities around you. Ask your organization and government to engage in initiatives that will not harm people or the planet. Voice your support for the Paris Agreement. How many of us have heard about Paris Agreement? Mr. Akilajo. Mr. Akilajo, talk to them about the Paris Agreement. You know, it's on the climate change. It's very important. Just note it and Google it. The Paris Agreement. So much of the waste that we produce on land ends up in the ocean. So while we are talking about individual actions that will reduce plastic waste, it's because according to our Secretary General, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, that if we don't take action now, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by 2050. Did you get that? If we don't take action now, there will be more plastics in the ocean than the fish by 2050. You know, that will be disastrous. Apart from destroying the ecosystem, it also has food security implications. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join hands with other SDGs advocates in your community to make the world a better place for all. As you do this, please remember those living with disabilities. Be inclusive in your programs and intervention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, sir. And one key highlight for me, sir, when you are speaking about Model United Nations, myself, I've heard about Model United Nations for a long period of time, and I participated in one, and when Young African Leaders Initiative were having their summit in Africa. But I discovered that aside from Covenant University that you mentioned in Ogun State, I think we don't really have more universities who are participating in Model United Nations in Ogun State. And we will take it upon ourselves to make sure that come 2022, at least minimum of 5 schools will have their own Model United Nations chapters in Ogun State University. So we'll work in line with you on that one. Thank you so much. Right. As our doctor is speaking, our essay to Governor on Environment Working, and I would like us to welcome our essay in the person of Mr. Ola Oresoya to the high table. Please, you are welcome. Before I proceed at all, I would like to tender an humble apology. I would like to tender an humble apology to our participator who is representing the Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture and the person Dr. Adiola Odedino. He has been here even before we started. And sir, we are very, very sorry, sir. He was actually supposed to present yesterday, but due to miscommunication, he could not present yesterday and he was actually even here. So, but today when we are starting, we have to start with Dr. Seyitori. Sir, we are very, very sorry, sir. Apologies. They are your children, they are learning, and I believe the more we do programs like this, the more better we will become in our planning. We are very, very sorry, sir. Apologies, sir. So please, with a standing innovation, please help me welcome our speaker representing our Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is James Oyushola. Like I've been introduced, I'm representing the Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture, Dr. Adiola Odedino. But I want to let you know that the person standing here, I'm from Ogun State, but I'm the National President of the United Nations Environment, the Ecosystem-Based Adaptation for Food Security Assembly, the NEP Epaposa Nigeria. You can take your time, just Google www.epaposa.org. It's among Ghana Global Adaptation Network. EBA. Have you heard of EBA before? Ecosystem-based adaptation. It's one, apart from the mitigation, we are talking of adaptation. And the whole thing now is the ecosystem-based adaptation. So these are the three things that my personal self is living in Nigeria and even in Africa. It's taking place in 54 countries in Africa. So having said that, the topic here before me is to say something about sustainable agro-tree planting. I would like to give you some content here. Like I already said, I was there yesterday to listen to some of the presenters. And one thing I want you to learn, like, upcoming attitude, no matter what you learn there, you must be able to have attitude and be timely. The area of African time is gone. And be yourself. I decided to say because you people are the one we are handing over to tomorrow. And I want to impart the knowledge. You see a lot of things that is happening. What we have, by the time the person that wants to die, the thing is not having again. Why? Because of attitude. The attitude must change from this African time. And you coming on board, please be yourself and be timely in whatever you do. We'll talk of the trends in population. Negative impact on the environment, what is consequential impact on the environment, the definition of sustainable agro-tree planting, then the goal of sustainable agro-tree planting. When we are talking of sustainable development goal, we also talk of sustainable. When you talk of something is sustainable, what do you mean about it? Agro-tree planting, then planting and establishing trees. that's the trend. The onset of industrial age brought about various trends that have led us to our present state. One, the quick rise in population. Consider by 2050, the youth population of Nigeria will overtake US. Overtake US. If you have opportunities and Google, the change world is represented by this energy group. That's a kind of compendium, essentially what will be the population like. And Nigerian youth population of Nigeria will take US. I think. Some of these people like the critical need for the production that we are talking about, farms require to produce more. We need to produce more. And as we are doing that, a lot of adverse events, deforestation, degradation, desertification, all these things are coming in. Because now, because of our physical economic development, we have to work, do a lot of things. What to do school, roads, because our populations. So also, we also need to feed. And that's why the farms require to produce more. And when we only produce the clear forest, the clear land, there's a time we do shipping conservation, but because of the population group, we cannot afford to continue to have the land to the reserve before we now go to the other one. So the farms require to produce more. Then another one is increasing urbanism, that is urbanization. Now who will live the village? Lagos is contested, even in Abuja. When you go to us, even Port Harcourt, Cross River, you can imagine because of the population explosion. Those are the trends. Then widespread ecological impacts. All these things lead to what? Ecological impact. Part of it is technological, political, and economic ethics. Negative impact of these trends. What are the negative impacts? Our current intervention has resulted in numerous negative side effects. See the picture there. Environmental damages. One, reduced biodiversity. What do you mean by biodiversity? In the forest, there is so many species. Because we degrade the forest, all those species are going to extinct. That's what we call our biodiversity. The woman's elephant, the tiger, those are the species, even the soil, and all the planets that surround us. That is our what? Our biodiversity. But we have done what? Reduce our biodiversity because when you want to build school, you have to clear the area. You want to farm, you have to clear. You want to have some roads, you also clear. And also, we are moving into destroying our what? Biodiversity. Habitat destruction as well. Deforestation, as I've mentioned, here, water here and soil pollution. Those are the pollution you see when you go to cement, that is we go to road, you see the pollution. All these things are part of it. One of the key areas apart from the climate change that's happening, we have the pollution and we have degradation. And we also have desertification. And that was causing the use of this people peaceful and exception moving from the north here because of what people want to eat. Those are the multiply effect of the effect of the degradation and climate change. Some mentioned standardization, that's what I've just mentioned, desertification. Climate change, one of the key areas, is all encompassing. And we have been declining water resources and land supply. Let me say something. Because of the impact of climate change, erratic nature, we all dump holes here and there. There will be a time they are not careful, cycle or regeneration, there will not be water in our borehole. Because we destroy our wetlands. Wetlands, waterlands, wetland, waterland, lakes, rivers, with sandfield. You know, when it's generated the precipitation, that precipitation spread. That's why we have the aquifer absorbing these waters. So when it's sandfield, when we get to our brothers and sisters, this cement, why are you not cementing this? I want you to cement this thing. This place is rough for me, but you are affected. In my place, I live in Zongo, very close by. The other areas, those my neighbors, they cement all that area because I'm environmentalist. I said, no, I only do this, I need to near my forwards. I'm the only one that is having water in that area. Because of what? The precipitation of that water to reduce runoff. When we got a flash flood, When water is gone, doesn't go where to go, there's what we call flash flood. But if there's percolation, infiltration of those water, it go back to the aquifer, then you can get water. But when it's run off, it's only destroying. It doesn't have any positive effect. And that's why I said declining water resources and land sufficient. What of human impact? One of the first human impact we are talking here is farmland destruction. Destroy the farm, leading to insect invasion, disease infection. Damage to soil fertility is part of it. Reduce nutritional value of food. That is why when you are talking of food security, there are 4 aspects. Food availability, food affordability, and food accessibility. We also talk of food nutrients. Part of it is reduce food nutrient value. Because when disease comes, because of the inflation, disease infiltrates our farm, the level of trick-off, and the nutrients supposed to have from it is what? Reduced. So this economic and social and cultural values, those are the things. Because when you are not comfortable, things will happen. For the past several years, research has looked at sustainable tree planting, among others, as a potential solution to correct and prevent this problem. I don't know if you are following me. That we are now going to our topic now. What I've just mentioned, the making it different. The sustainability of tree planting, among others, as a potential solution to prevent this problem. How would that happen? Let's do it. We define what is sustainable agro-tree planting. Don't forget I'm discussing agro what? Sustainable agro-tree planting. What does it mean to us? Just as the same name, maybe an agriculturist or not. Is an integrated system of tree planting practice having a site-specific application that will over the long term. It's a site-specific. When you say something is sustainable, sustainability means the way you are doing things, you are going to live it better than the way you get it. That makes it sustainable. You only not think of today. What I just said, that you are more or less our sustainable solving capital tomorrow. And the value you are valuing is able to have impact on us in terms of how you are able to be stable, and your sustainability is very key to the development of the country. And that's why we are saying that it's an integrated system of tree planting, but having a site-specific application that will over the long time. Second one is certified woman food. Father needs no woman food, that's what we eat. Let me say part of the agro-tree crops. But when you talk of food crops, what are tree crops? Tree crops are mango, who can tell me? Yes. Pawpaw, yes. Cashew, yes. What is it? Orange, citrus are tree crops. Those are not necessarily timber trees. These are crops that have both the economic, social, and environmental impact. Now, when we only know the timber trees, sticks, and all those things, those ones we just cut later. But the other area, when we talk of this, about which is what? Certified woman. Mango will be what? Fruit. Cashew, you know the cashew fruit. You know you have not started exporting that cashew fruit. It's only the not the job. Area of value, and that's why I mentioned the area of certified woman food. Then the further needs. Get our raw materials. The cassava we plant, the raw materials we need to starch and some other derivatives. We've seen mango juice. All those are what we name as kind of the food and the other materials. Another one is that the agro-tree planting enhance our environmental quality. From photosynthesis, just a simple thing. We put in what? What do we do? Oxygen. We do that what? Now the trees that we plant takes in this carbon dioxide for their own food. But because we have degraded the trees, what we have, and that's why I'm causing ozone layer depletion, causing the effect of climate change. So one of the major areas, although it's not for the means of saying that it's only by mitigation, and that was mitigation of absorbing, we call it carbon sequestration. It's only the elements. The area of adaptation we must start looking. Before I leave this all, I will introduce you, whether I said, because the issue of climate is already here with us. We cannot mitigate. If you go and plant like now, that's 1 million trees now to not solve the problem. So we must look at the world, the adaptive measure. How do you adapt? How do you cope? And that's why I'm talking of the ecosystem-based adaptation. We use the ecosystem to do that because the geoengineering aspect has been focused. So that's why the person mentioned, which is the general secretary of the UN, I've mentioned, I'm going to check ecosystem based. It's the it now, nature-based solution. That's what we are, apart from the mitigative aspect, we are trying to do. I'm going to do major events in the Paris Agreement, I mean, the COP26 that is coming on board by November that mentioned. We also talk of, now I'm not talk of the environment, and we talk of mitigate the effect of climate change. Very key. When you plant tree, I've just explained how does the tree, agro-tree planting help for mitigation of climate change, absorption of the carbon dioxide. Apart from the three greenhouse gases that cause the carbon dioxide, methane, which other one? Nitric oxide. Those are the major three greenhouse gas. So there are still some, but those are the three areas. So with the mitigation of the climate change, we have to look at go by using tree. And I've told you how does tree achieve mitigating the effect of climate change. Apart from the trees will know when it spreads, the water accumulation and fertilization will also be easy because it makes the water, and that water, some of them absorb the water and put it back into the soil. Apart from the mitigative aspect of carbon sequestration that is made. We also have sustained economic viability of farm operation, which is also very key. And the last one is that enhance the quality of life of farmers and society as a whole, because we live in an ecosystem. What affects this environment? One of the major areas in terms of the food. Have you heard of food? Oil. 50% of the food we eat is pollinated. We spray chemicals, we destroy the ecosystem, and going to what we mentioned. And what we call interaction, that is imbalance. Like the law I understand, we call it late tolerance principle. We do chemistry there. When there's a collusion, it shifts into also keep adults. And that's why I'm causing a lot of diseases, mutations here and there that happen. So the issue of climate change to be taken more serious. That's why I took my time protecting the planet. I believe it's a very good initiative because it's an encompassing, it's an inclusive approach of that all of us have to benefit from. When we protect the planet, it also protects us. The goal of sustainable agriculture planting, what are we tracking at? Is to minimize adverse impact to mitigate the environment caused by environmental factors like climate change. I've explained that several. Now, what are the real goals? Why do we need to say, okay, why is POP protect our planet and bring this stuff up? What are you driving at? What are the goals? It's just to minimize the adverse impact of the immediate environment caused by environmental factors like climate change, land degradation, among the others, while providing a sustainable level of production and what? A profit. Because when you plant trees, apart from the environmental aspect, mitigation, you're also looking for what? Money. Three aspects now that I have to look into: environment, economy, and the social aspect. Three have to go in line. That makes sure you're in line. You don't allow one to affect, you don't allow the economy to affect the environment. And the environment also, because of the environment, if you say, I want to mitigate, and people are hungry, let people that work in my business, I want to eat. Whether I plant or anywhere I'm destroying or degrading the soil, I don't care because I want to eat. So you must bring the two together before you can say you are doing anything sustainable. So that's why I'm saying now that the land tradition, while other providing sustainable level of production, you can see here, look at that. I put here sustainable agriculture, economically viable, environmental friendly, and socially acceptable. And that is what we name as sustainable agro-tree planting. But now we are getting to tree planting. There are two aspects called edible crops, like maize, cassava. Those are called trees are different. There are more to any tree that's about 6 inches higher will be considered as a tree at that time. Like cocoa, oil palm, cajun, timber, figs, those are what trees. Rubber is also a tree. So the head to this goal is understanding the sustainability must be extended not only globally, but indefinitely in time and in all living organisms, including humans. Now, simply stated, Sustainable agriculture planting refers to the ability of a farm to produce or plant trees indefinitely without causing irreversible damage to what? Ecosystem health. This is very key. Sustainable farming means the ability of a farm when you planting to produce or plant trees indefinitely without what? Causing irreversible damage to ecosystem health. And part of the strategy is what we call agroforestry. Agroforestry. You don't need to destroy. Cocoa has done a lot because they want to, those people eat a lot of chocolate there. But they destroy a lot of farms. But they can work mutually. And that's why when I saw sustainable agro, not just agro-tree planting. Tree planting must be what? Sustainable. It must not affect health, like what I did there. It must economically viable, socially what? Acceptable and environmental friendly. So, that is what sustainable tree planting means. That causing every damage to ecosystem means all of us. Both living and both fauna and fauna, living or not living. We are all what? Ecosystem. And that's why what I told you about ecosystem-based adaptation. That you are using the ecosystem to make sure we adapt to whatever we are doing. You can see planting and conserving trees, that has been done. You can see, let's go. Remember, if you remove a tree, plant another one in its place. Like I said, if you plant 1 million, you know what kind of mitigation we put in place. But I'm saying that mitigation and applications go vary as well. So those are the, please go back to it. Let me just do that area. Oh, okay, that's fine. You can see that is what, who knows this thing? Some people say, oh my God, I need okay, nothing to shoot. They are planting yam. No, this is Kai. You know this thing that I'm saying. This is Kaju. That's the person who is moving from the farm. These are really the farm we planted in the state this year. And we are distributing the Kaju free of that. So I'm giving you guys an interested in 20. Yes. We are having the 20 or 30 seedings of Kaju. It's not theory. I'm in charge. I'm going to give you free of that. What is clap for me? That is the parody of His Excellency Dr. Abiodun MFR. You know, the state is practice what we preach. You are the director of 2 crops, and what are you practicing? What are you 3 crops in? When you don't have cocoa, when you don't have kaju, and we are not talking of sustainable tree planting. So by the time we are living here, that was it. You get their names, their numbers, and collect to see everyone at least 2020 cocoa or kaju. So we are starting ourselves. So make sure the plant is doctors come here, me and love practical. And we monitor because you have your where you are planting. You want to monitor because you an improved variety. The cocoa that we start putting in 18 months, the kaju that we start putting in less than 3-4 years. Brazilian people mix with the medium size so that you can know their need for the business. Steps for proper planting. I'll just rush through. I know you had a lot of this yesterday, but steps for proper planting. When I'm giving you that, you say, oh, that, Mama, you get me. Now look at it very well now. First of all, look up where's and lights, where it is. Look at what they are doing there. That's sort of tree. Dig shallow and wide hole. Find the topmost root and treat root effect. Place tree in the hole. Position top roots 1 to 2 inches above landscape soil. Setting the tree, like what you are seeing there. Remove synthetic material. If there's any polythene, anything there that is not biodegradable, you have to remove it. Remove synthetic materials. Add backfill soil and farm the root ball. Then hard mulch means maybe it's grass that you need so that to reduce evapotranspiration because of the two effects of climate change. It's either it's flood or it's drought. But most people are facing the erratic nature of climate change make it unpredictable. When you think that, like last year, a particular example, when you switch flood here, but last year it was a difficult drought. We had over 2 months dry spell. We say, even in Nigeria, in Southwest. There, you know that they don't have much rain because flood. Shows climate change is what it's real. No need of theory. It's real. And then I started this advocacy for climate change far back as 2010. We need to get of money. What is climate change? We say we are hungry, we are talking. By the time the rain ceases, and here we depend on rain-fed agriculture. We are not started embracing it's done on us now that we just have to. So it's another aspect, say you are going to agriculture. I don't know it's not about cost alone. There's a lot of what? Value chain. You can decide on the irrigation, how to install, how to repair, all those things. Those are the value chains that can also engage yourself and also to improve the agricultural aspect. So like I said, that was take and pull. Pulling the other thing that is come that is not useful. What you call. I also say this thing again. The organizer of this event, they contacted us to do a free of charge practical effect. Like I'm discussing already after Kaju, the lining, how they plant it and plant. See, how does it here?
Okay, so thank you for that. Sorry, I'm just talking. After now, we have 10 selected participants that may go on field. So push as well, bring them as well. For this, thanks so much.
So you have to be able to know the fact. I don't say you don't know anything about it, just try and do as possible. You need agriculture that anybody that does going to. You have to pass through the tutelage. Me, I'm an agronomist. Whenever I start a fish pond, very big at the back of my hand, I pick up my friend who is a specialist in fish pond. Since I'm an agriculture, within 1 year, I'm ready to catch up. To bring somebody, whether he cheated you or not, don't mind for the first year. Just grab. And then you be an specialist yourself from the following year. Now, I say look up. This is your last chance to be sure you have selected the right tree for the right place. You know, like I said, we have Kaji, we have cocoa. You must know soil, which area is best for any tree you want to plant. There's one research, those one in nature-based solutions. When I had that, I feel discouraged. That did I know that even planting a tree, where it doesn't have a natural habitat, is causing inflation. What do you mean? That is not its natural habitat. That it can draw faith and belief. But that is not his or natural habitat. I say, Joe, we must look for, okay, this Kaji, we will say it's best known for Kaji's area. Although Kaji is the weakness of the whole thing. You understand? But you can still use your normal judgment by looking at the vegetation of that area. Cocoa is good very well because of the rainfall around the side. Cashew very good because it's drought tolerant, it's drought resistant. Immediately you plant cashew, it's gone. Whether rainfall or not, immediately you have maybe 2 or 3 rains after planting. You have survived. So it's more or less climate resilient than cocoa. Cocoa, you must make sure you want to wet. But that one brings more money than the other one. So it's a trade-off. You have to think of that. This is your last chance to be sure you have a selected right tree for the right place. If there's any wire security light or pointing that back, you have to watch it. Notice that fixes. I know that's not plant this is the cost of management. Plant elsewhere, if you know all this will cause a problem, or plant a small maturing. Let's go on. Yes, step for proper planting. I've just mentioned this route. I said she press the road, you have picked the road, you have put all this. So let's run through. Just let us run through. This is another one. You measure the distance between the topmost root and the bottom of the root ball. Were you taught this yesterday? Good. If you discover that these are the very important, and dig the hole to about 90 to 95% of this depth before you now able to plant. All right, let's go. The planting holes as wise as what as possible. And then we are going to leave this presentation, you have it and be able to internalize it, know what are the depth, factory soil, the mulch, the other area, the percentage, they are all literate, so you'll be able to know. The planting holes are at least 1.5 times the diameter of the root ball. Root ball means that diameter of that plant we are talking about before that has that sound. That's what we meant by the root ball. This provides good soil for the expansion of the root. If you have it properly, then the root is able to expand. We are still looking at this. Let's go. You can see that find the topmost soil, the top root, the root here. The point where the topmost root meets the trunk of the tree should be done more than what 2 inches deep in the root ball. Those are the, when you see the practical, these are the things you need to utilize and read later. You can make it. I've gone through the practical, these are the theoretical aspects of it that you can study over time to be able to measure. Like if I want to measure an hectare, this is my length. If I walk 22 this side and 22 times 10, I'll get you 1 hectare. An hectare is 1 habitat in the plot. When I just say, don't worry, immediately the plan is here. I use my length. If I walk 22 this side, then 22 times 10, I'll bring that 1 hectare. So it's the practical and what we learn over and over. Agriculture is our next stage. So everybody must what? Come on board. Another area we have a competitive advantage is skill. So they're not maize and this kind of thing, because we want to start exporting. Any country that refuses to export is GDP. Our GDP will not do that. And our foreign exchange is in the mess. Dollar to naira. But if we start exporting, we refuse to import. And we have the land, we have the land, we have agile people. Look at this, my sister, I can do a lot of value chain. And we have the strength. What are we looking at? We start importing, those people start killing us. Malaysia brought the oil palm from Nigeria here. That's better than us. So our attitude must change. Please, I'm begging you. We just have to be firm in whatever we are doing. Whatever you have to get rate, and you don't put it with the right attitude. Zero. So let's go. I'm almost rounding up. The disciple root ball, that's what the guy is showing there. You have time to put all these things. That's why I make it more pictorial. So when you have your time, a laptop, don't stop watching Chelsea. Most of the things are not your system. When I want to sleep, I'll say, okay, this thing I've learned. I just open my phone to enlarge my learn. Stop browsing Facebook all the time. Instagram. Use your time meaningful with all these things and the pressure of brain that will bring you more money. You know, you have more population and there will be more competition. Like you will say, find yourself as a director doesn't mean a lot of people are better than you. One person will fight for one post. But we have divergence opportunity because it's very competitive. I always tell my children, my friend, we have gone our own, is more competitive. Is what? Not competitive. Because where you want to go, a lot of only one position, over 1 million. They say, okay, have that now. Driver, can see what the country is doing. But with agriculture, everybody will say level and also export. Yes. Almost going to the last of the root ball quality. This is what we expect, and these are the right. These are the things: good quality of ball, poor quality of ball. How you look at that, because it depends, and this will bring out the kind of output we're expecting. We'll show this to you practically. But I love to show you pictorial first. Then later, when you now see practical, but you might this is what he's saying, and then I need to do this way and do that way. Let's go. We're almost done. Yes, remove excess soil in that. You know, look at what that guy did. That thing is already in that box. You remove the excess soil, the top soil there, and before you put it down. 3 inches of the soil and media we are removed from the top of the soil. Let's go. Now, treating root defect, maybe there's a root defect in this are the things you need to do. Cut or spread out the flipping of those roots, going up above the way most of the roots. Those are the kind of things. Defect at the top of the ball. These are the things you see, and that's these are not good defects. And you can see. Maybe you plant, and you are seeing it after 1, 2, 3 years, you need to pull it down and watch and the plant. Because it don't give you a very good Circling roots, cut them or tear up the head, then cutting this thing is another one. I don't want to bore you with all this. It's really for the practical aspect. The thread can be inside the root ball. Can you see all these things? Look at the thread in the scene. You see me, I don't want to say everything is all the rado. You don't do anything that shows some technical except the face, but when you see like look at it, I think I give them all this so that we're able to analyze and see. By the time you are going practically, you need to yourself. And I believe you all will do this sustainable advocacy plan. Are you assuring me? Okay, let's go. So these are some of the three circling with which effect and effect. Look at what is happening that way. This is what we call shake case. Are you seeing a shake case? How to just find it instead of putting iron rod or this thing that will continue to show the effect back, make it more environmental friendly. It's one of the best things you can plan because it's shake case. Let's go again. Yeah, you can see that's the person is planting. It's cutting, it's not checking. What are the capabilities of the one? Those ones is allowing what I have to put our own so that we not say we are copying cats. Their own is different from our own soil. That is our own. But I'm not condemning what they are already doing. But some of us can find ourselves anywhere. They can put the manager, come and do this and that. So this is to avoid damage when setting the tree in the rope. If the tree straps or rope around the root ball and not the truck. Now you don't put the truck, that's what they mean. Okay. Now, set tree in the hole. That's how it is. This is citrus. Awesome. That's the tree. Let's go. Let's go. So these are the positioning. You can see the way the guy is putting it down. This one will explain all this. Let's go. Don't let me tell you. Take your time. And you need to measure. The back bend. I just put it there. No, you have to measure to have the distance. Distance of cocoa planting is different from cashew. Cashew is different from oil palm. Oil palm is different from citrus. So you must what? Measure. You have to write. Cocoa will have 1,100 seedlings for 1 hectare. Cashew will have 130 because it's big. Oil palm will be 7.5 by 7.5. They have different inches. I'm only showing you so that no different measurement. Yes. Let's go. Before having the backfield, be sure to check the trees in straight line. That's how to work. Straight line. That's what we have to map. When you look at it, how did this thing straight? Go to the farm. Then don't go there, just bring the specialists who will do that for you. And you will be happy when you see your trees doing very well, very safe. It's very quick. Very quick. By the time you are reading this, you enjoy it better. Let's go. Yes. Wire backs, let's go again. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. It looks really bad. I'm talking of mulching because we're talking of planting. Mulching is when you plant and there's a little water. When you mulch, it will reduce evapotranspiration. So that is the adaptive measure we are talking about. When you plant now, you don't have irrigation. I don't want to bore you that. You have to go and plant cocoa. Rain and stuff, what that is. When you plant mulch, it will reduce evaporation of water and the moisture content of that plant. If not, by December, come and call me. So very key. That's why I'm putting some key areas. What you are meant. Now let's go. Also, fertilizer, I'm not plugging much of this. Just go. This is good that you can spend much time here, but that's not really too practical. Summary for proper planting. I'm ending here. Look at the root there. Look at the mulching I told you that is mulch. Then top root falls 10% above the landscape. That's the tree that's going there. You can see. Back to soil, irrigation device, that's the water that is keeping. But if you don't have and you mulch, it will reduce transpiration. So I'm going to end here, not to bore you too much because although I'm not an agriculturalist or specialist, but when you get to the field, I'll be able to show you what you need to do. Next year, we are meeting again. So I want to thank you once again for this. That's my number there. That is 08034550966. You can also get my email. You are free. And I expect maybe if you people send a WhatsApp group, add me there to be able to guide you to have come to sustainable growth market. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for our participants. Let's start very well now. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, sir. Just like yesterday when we were learning about the tree planting, I said tree planting is not something you can learn within a day, and it's not something you can just learn like this. It's something you need to practicalize. And today, I'm very, very happy having you, sir. And for having you here, we actually have one opportunity on ground already. So for every one of us that would love to go into agro tree planting, there is free cashew seedlings for you. A round of applause for our participation. And I believe we also need cocoa for some of us that are coming all the way from Ijebu. I know we can also reach out to him as well. So thank you so much, sir. So before we continue, we would like to have photograph for our speakers so that we can continue engaging ourselves in the photography session. So don't worry, we'll snap as fans, don't worry. This is a little package for us to do. Thank you for coming here today and also for being part of the training, for your time, your resources. You know, it's not much, but you know that the commitment already is really wow. It's wow me already. Imagine if you have 10 cashew trees, 20 cashew trees, you know what that's good. I'm not seeing the results now, but I'm trying to read into the future. I'm trying to read into the future, and that is really, and imagine also cocoa, if you have access to these things. I plant tree a lot, so as he's saying it, for me, my heart is overwhelmed with joy because I know I already have places where I'll plant them. Yes, and I already have my own nursery as well. So that is it. Please let's celebrate our speakers. What you do for the essay. Thank you so much. Thank you from the United Nations. We are really grateful. Please, you could just, yes, please. Thank you. So we would like to have a okay. Yeah. So for our facilitators, my name is Samuel C. Okorie, and I am a pulpit mentor and ambassador for Africa. And also this project is actually a national project in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Environment. So in each state, we carry out an engagement on climate education in a way of telling youth that they have to take action for the environment. And we saw Ogun State as a unique state to do something unique. And I also want to appreciate Mr. Emmanuel here, who has been a major lead
for this project in this state. Please let's celebrate this Emmanuel. I would like to have a good photograph now. But before we have the group photographs, when it comes to environment, we've learned about circular economy, and currently we are working on a project and trying to use the environment to also solve another project. So I currently teach in a primary school, and during my course of teaching, I discovered that some of my pupils do come to school with polybags, right? And we are talking about circular economy, we are talking about clean environment, and I know for sure that many young people and even some old people wear jeans a lot. And when we are done with this jean material, what do we do to them? We just dispose them. So in the bit of trying to find a solution to textile waste, we try to create a project out of it whereby we are making school bags out of the old jean material. And we have even gone to the extent of making it as a pride of Ogun State by making the bag to look in a Kampala form. So please, kindly help me back and let's show it to our participators. Okay, let's take a picture with our participators with it. So we are trying to use this project to actually solve the problem of some of our pupils' parents not having enough money to get school bags for their children. We can come in within that space and find solutions to them. So please help us take picture with the bags. Thank you so much. All right, so Pastor, please let's have a good photograph with them further. And please let's just come out for a good photograph. After now, we have a speaker from US, and then Mrs. Catherine should be speaking to us immediately after the group photograph. So this is really after that, then we'll have our panel section. I know our speaker for the panel discussion, they are really ready. They have been here since God knows when. But please let us bear with us after the photograph. Then we take a section from Ms. Catherine in US and also the panel discussion. Thank you.
I feel like I should buy more cable ties. I was gonna buy them. Yeah, every department in Tesco department. They offered me
Let's have our seat back. Let's have our seat back. So let's have our seat back. We have our participator who is representing the Honorable Speaker in the person of Mr. Ola Oresanya, and she is going to be the one that will come right now to speak to us. You are highly welcome, ma'am. Please, a round of applause for her, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mrs. Toby. We're here to represent the Special Advisor on Environment, Mr. Ola Oresanya. It's unfortunate that we had somewhere to go to. We had to spend time to be here with us, squeezing time from his tight schedule to be here with us, but it's unfortunate that he had to leave. So I'm just going to run through his presentation. It might not be as detailed as if he's doing it by himself, but I'm going to run through what he's supposed to present. I'm going to start by defining environmental sustainability. Okay, let me start by saying the topic for this presentation is environmental sustainability and advocacy. So I shouldn't miss that out. Environmental sustainability and advocacy. So I'm going to start the presentation by defining what environmental sustainability is. Environmental sustainability is a responsibility to conserve natural resources and protect global ecosystems to support health and well-being now and in the future. Human being is closely linked to the health of the environment. Around the world, 24% of deaths can be traced back to avoidable environmental factors. People need clean air to breathe, fresh water to drink, and places to live that are free of toxic substances and hazards. So we must act to reverse the effects of exponential industrial growth and energy use and prevent further damage, ensuring we have healthy places to live for generations to come. Now let's talk about the importance of environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability is fundamental to the survival of our planet and ourselves. It helps in the sustainable management of means and resources. It helps to ensure a bright future for the future generation. It focuses on the environment conservation. It helps in the acquisition, mobilization, and conservation of means and resources. We have three pillars of sustainability. We have the environmental protection. Environmental protection here means conserving ecosystems, air quality, integrity, and sustainability of our resources to provide a clean and healthy environment. Then we also have the economic development, which means providing a satisfactory level of economic well-being today, while not compromising the ability of the future generation to enjoy the same financial benefits. We also have the social development, which is providing access to basic resources to ensure a high level of social fulfillment, including the end to poverty and hunger, better standards of education and healthcare, and improved sanitation and water quality. Those are the three pillars of sustainability. Now I'm going to give examples of sustainable development. We have the green space, we have crop rotation, we have sustainable design and construction, we have water efficiency, water efficient systems, we have renewable clean energy, waste to energy recycling, which is conversion of waste materials to energy. to electricity, then water treatment. Then how can we maintain environmental sustainability? In order to maintain environmental sustainability, we need to reduce our household energy use. We need to eat locally. We need to dispose the disposable. We need to plant seeds, just like what the other speaker has talked about, planting seeds. Then we recycle and reuse. Most of our waste materials need to be recycled. Instead of throwing them away and constituting nuisance in the environment, you can recycle them and convert them to usable materials. Then we sell and donate items. There are some items you don't really need. Maybe you are tired of using them. You can resell them to other people that need them. Or you sell to them or you donate to people that need them, thereby reducing waste in the environment. Then go paperless. Instead of using paper most of the time to do your office work or whatever work you want to do, you can always do your work through the internet. You can go online. You can do online transaction and all that instead of using paper. In this way, you are reducing the amount of waste that will be discarded in the environment. Then grow your own produce. Okay, I've mentioned donate and use items, and thereby trade products, dry sometimes you may want to go out and you don't have to take your car. You can decide to trek or jog to go to where you're going to avoid carbon emission that comes out from the vehicles that we drive. So if you drive less, the carbon emission will be reduced to a certain level. Then don't waste food. When you eat, try not to waste. You cook what you are able to finish. And if you don't finish, you can refrigerate it. And what makes the next day? Consume. Okay, now I'm talking about rules of sustainability, design and interconnected street systems, locate commercial services, frequent transit and schools within a 5-minute walk, locate good jobs close to affordable homes, create a linked system of natural areas and parks, invest in lighter, greener, cheaper, and smarter infrastructure. Then the principles of sustainable development, conservation of ecosystem, development of sustainable society, conservation of biodiversity, control of population growth, development of human resources, promotion of public participation. Then there are some policies that have to be put in place to promote environmental sustainability. That's the number one, placing tax on carbon emission. When you place tax on it, as in people like, let me say, industries and people that drive cars, there is a certain amount that has to be paid by industries that emit all these harmful substances through their production. Then government regulations to limit harmful emissions. So government has a role to play in limiting these harmful emissions, then subsidizing, encouraging more sustainable environmental practices, including all environmental consequences and the cost benefits, analysis of decision making, shifting consumer behavior through persuasion and use of behavioral economics, and policies formulated to eradicate poverty. Meaning that there are policies that should be formulated to eradicate poverty, because poverty is one of the challenges. Promotion of public participation, then population growth control. Then now to talk about the challenges of sustainable development, poverty and exclusion is part of it. For example, Where there's poverty, somebody that is still looking for a means of survival will not have the time to say, okay, I want to do environmental sustainability. I want to sustain the environment. It won't be possible because he or she is still thinking of how to get food to eat. So he will never think of, okay, I want to make sure the environment is sustained. Then unemployment, where there are no jobs, there's nothing like environmental sustainability. The environment cannot be sustained where there are no jobs. Then we have climate change, then population growth. When the population is growing and there's urbanization, then you cannot sustain the environment because, okay, and where there's conflict, you cannot also sustain the environment. Then what the future looks like if we don't act now. If we don't act now, there will be pollution, there will be lack of good water, there will be hunger, there will be flooding, there will be soil erosion, there will be deforestation, there will be desertification, and there will be global warming. Those are the things that are likely to happen when we don't sustain our environment. Then how do we go by advocacy? Telling people how to sustain their environment. That is what is meant by advocacy. Then for the youth can protect the environment by starting their own initiative or starting their own initiative, volunteer with environmental organizations. Sorry, I'm trying to see. Then youth can also increasingly use the power of their collective voice to advocate, lobby, and lead campaigns toward adopting environmentally friendly practices and policies. The youth can also mobilize their peers on social media or other online interactions to discuss, debate, and advocate for better environmental protection. Youth should also seize the opportunity to commemorate World Environmental Day by initiating awareness events and sharing ideas with family and community members on how to protect the environment. Youth can also call or write people in government to represent them, local and state, and tell them how they feel. Then we have some easy ideas for easy ways to advocate for the environment. So instead of buying new things, you can reduce. As in what you can do yourself, you can reuse instead of buying new things. You can take a pledge to get rid of plastic. This is one of the ways you can advocate for the environment. Clean energy source. Optimize your current use of fossil fuel. Eliminate waste. Recycle, we have talked about one correctly. Then recover energy. Save time. Reduce or eliminate pollution. Save resources. Buy sustainable products. And only buy what you need. Don't buy what you don't need. In that way, you are reducing waste. Then the conclusion. Realistic policies and legal structures must be put in place so as to harmonize government policies among sectors. Awareness and education in communities on how to live a sustainable life through reduce, reuse, and recycle, and the benefits on the environment should be put in place. Then businesses need to invest in environmentally sustainable and socially responsible practices, like using clean energy and paying living wages to secure a livable future. Thank you. I hope I've been able to get something across to you.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that wonderful presentation. And then, right now, I'd like to have a presentation from Ms. Catherine from US. So I don't know my currently.
let me just connect up, please. Thank you. Please, can we make a discussion a co-host? Discussion, please. Where is it?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I don't know if it's afternoon where you are.
Please hold on. Okay. Please try and say something.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Go again.
Good morning, can you hear me?
We can hear you from here, I think, but I don't know what way the others can hear you.
Aux input mode, Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth connected.
We can hear you. Can't you hear?
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Hello, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? You want me to log out and log back in?
Sketcher, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? It's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. You have the slide. Let me know when to start.
FM tenure. AUX input mode. Bluetooth message.
Hello, Sam. When do you want me to start?
Attention, please. Attention.
Sam, are we ready?
Yes, yes. Just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, please.
You want me to start? Did you want me to start? I guess our host is having issues. Let's just be patient with him, or let's be patient with the team. The host said he's having a slight issue with his network, so we should just give him a couple of minutes. I know this session is an in-class thing, so we have some students or some youths in the classroom, and they are kind of in there as a team. So whatever we're doing today, a couple of us are online while the main team are in class. So I guess he's back right now.
All right, so we'll connect live now. I think we are ready. So we'll connect live now.
Discussion idea. You're muted.
Hi, I'm here. You want to go ahead and do the introduction, or you want me to go right to the point?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, please just hold on. Let me share it here. Ms. Catherine, please, so sorry for these issues of network. What will make you a co-host right now so that you can share from your own end directly? I don't know if that will work by you.
That's fine.
Okay, please. Okay, I think you're not a co-host.
Hello, can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your
screen. Yes.
Okay.
You may go on.
My name is Catherine Asapoha Utsalo. I'm a leadership and wellness coach, professional life coach. Today I am here because POP had invited me to talk to them based on their program, Climate Advocacy Leadership Training. I appreciate my being here today, and I am highly honored. And I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. But my focus today will be on self-esteem and leadership in climate change adaptation. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-esteem, coping with climate change anxiety, and then leadership. We have 30 minutes for this, and we'll just be touching on these areas quickly so that we are not going beyond the time given to us. So I am the CEO and founder of Moisi Naturals. I am also an information technology consultant. My passion for climate change and my passion for self-esteem is the fact that if we don't have the right self-esteem, it is difficult to do a lot of things, whether it's climate change or any kind of changes that comes in our lives. So talking about self-esteem, leadership, climate change, they're all interwoven, because when you have your self-esteem, then you can be a good leader. When you are a good leader, then you'll be able to communicate to others what self-esteem is, what climate change is all about, and how people can gradually adapt to the changes they experience during climate change, and how they can participate and be part and parcel of that change without allowing the negative impact to bring them down, but instead looking for solutions and resolutions to whatever changes is coming to their lives. So that is why we are focusing today on those three areas: the self-esteem, leadership, and the anxiety when it comes to climate change adaptation. So when we're talking about self-esteem, we're talking about the importance of believing in yourself. So today, I know we have the youths in the classroom. It's going to be a little bit interactive. I just want one person there. You can just mention your name. And when I say, do you believe in yourself? I'm talking to the youths in this program. Can somebody just respond to me? Do you believe in yourself? In yourself. Okay, I guess the network is bad. So the thing is, if you believe in yourself, where are you taking the belief that you have in yourself? Are you allowing that belief in yourself to affect you positively or negatively? Because we can believe in ourselves and yet we are rude to our elders. We can believe in ourselves and be disrespectful in the office. We can believe in ourselves and carry the negative energy. So when you believe in yourself, the question is, how do you carry your belief in yourself? Are you able to communicate with the belief that you have in yourself? Or the belief you have in yourself is just main arrogance? Then if that is arrogance and all of that, then you are having the negative self-esteem. We're not going to delve into all that because there is no time. But we all know that for us to believe in ourselves, there are lots of things that we have to do. We have to have a good health.
Yeah.
We have to have.
I think it's all for today. Yeah.
Somebody is echoing. If you're not talking, can you mute? So according to Dr. TC, not list 12, he lists 12 benefits that come from boosting your self-confidence, because it is your self-esteem that helps you with your confidence. Who are you? Who are you when it comes to inside of you? I'm not talking about who are you that we see from the physical, but who are you from the inside? Because from the physical, we all can pretend to be somebody else. But the inside of us is who we are. So even no matter how we try to manipulate who we are and try to say, okay, this is who I am, eventually it will even reveal in the physical, because you cannot pretend for too long. Eventually your real self will show. So improved coping and thriving under stress. Now we're talking about climate change. We all know how stressful climate change can be. But to be able to boost your self-confidence when you're under stress, then there's a better ability to influence and persuade others. More leadership and executive presence, increased positive attitude, enhanced sense of feeling valued, improved performance at work, being perceived as more attractive, reduce negative thoughts, more fearless and less anxiety, greater freedom. So if we are fearless and we have less anxiety, then we can begin to talk about relating to others. But if deep inside of us there is that fear, then I'm not able to communicate. And I'll use myself as an example. Growing up, we all know in the community, I grew up in Nigeria, born and raised in Nigeria. So in a community that I grew up, it's a community where you have the older ones and you respect the older ones. So sometimes you have an opinion, but because the older one will shut you down, before you even say a word, they'll tell you, shut up, you're talking too much. Or nobody has called you to this conversation. Or why are you interfering in adults' conversation? And you are just innocently trying to say something. And by doing that, before you know what is happening, your confidence is reduced, your self-esteem is reduced. In short, sometimes they will call you name, Okpelenge, get out of here, Fati Bombom. Whatever it is, once that negative thing has been put in your head, with a lot of people, it begins to affect them. So who are we as we're growing up? What character do we build? And do we build this character from the way we are raised? Or do we build this character because we have decided, you know, I need to build the right character. I know something is wrong. I know something has gone wrong with me, and it is time to begin to build my character. So for me, growing up, I was one of those very, very slim girls. So it's either somebody is saying, dry bunga fish, I better come out for here, no talk to me. Or this song where you sing self, who know, you don't formulate something. Because I loved to sing. I loved to do a lot of things. And you find me singing songs that, yeah, it's true, nobody has sung, but I'm just sitting there and something is going on in my head and I'm doing what I'm doing. Sometimes when they call us story time, storyteller, and I'm asked to, it's my turn to say a story. I'm narrating a story that has no end. And the next thing somebody will say, we're very sure she's formulating the story. So, but how did it affect me? It kind of diminished that sense of belonging when I'm in that group. That's number one. Then secondly, it reduced my confidence as in what I think I know, because in my head, I know okay, I love to sing. Now I stop singing in public only when I'm in church and in choir, but if I'm among my friends, I will not sing. When I have an idea, I don't want to say anything about it because some older friends will tell you to shut up. But in doing what I had to do, gradually with prayers and supplication and reading the word and moving around the right people, I started building my self-esteem back. I started realizing that whatever is coming out of them is not who I am. I am who I am from the inside, not what somebody is implanting in my head. So coming to character and self-confidence, it's pretty easy to spot self-confident people in addition to signs like ones above. There are plenty of other signs that indicate a person is confident and self-assured, including people who are self-confident do what they believe is right, even if they are mocked or criticized, just like I said. But you have to get to that point because sometimes the attack is too early, but you have to get to a stage where you begin to build your self-confidence back. They are more willing to take risk and go the extra mile to get what they want. So among the youths today that we're talking to, are you available? Are you ready to take the risk to go the extra mile when it comes to climate change advocacy? Are you ready to take that risk? Are you ready to stand and say, okay, this is what we're standing for? Are you ready to follow the rules and regulations, the protocols that are put in place when it comes to climate change advocacy? Those are questions you will ask yourself because this is an assignment you have chosen. Nobody has imposed it on you. They are able to admit when they have made a mistake and learn from their mistakes. Do you admit, do you agree when a friend tells you, or your teacher tells you, or your colleague at the office tells you, this is wrong, what you have done? Are you able to admit that you have made a mistake? Because that is very important. They wait for others to congratulate them on their accomplishment instead of bragging and boasting. So you're given an award. You don't need to tell everyone like, oh, how come you didn't even congratulate me and making a fuse out of it? You earned it. And because you earned it, it is okay. Even if nobody says congratulations, it's fine. The thing is you earned it and you're happy that you earned it. Eventually, the congratulations will come and they will come from the right people. Because if you are seeking the congratulations, it will end up sometimes coming from the wrong people and they can be sarcastic about it. They accept compliments with grace and gratitude. Hey, when people congratulate you, appreciate it and tell them thank you. Not, oh, I deserve it. Oh, no. Tell them you appreciate it, tell them thank you, and just be the right person that you're supposed to be. So let's go to preparing your journey. How do you prepare a journey when you are going to go through changes? And how do you prepare that journey when you already know that this is my situation? You take an inventory of what you have already achieved. You think about your strengths and weaknesses. Think about your goals and values. Practice stopping negative and self-talk in its track and replacing with positive thinking. So what are you thinking in your head? Are you thinking about all the negative things you're hearing? Are you thinking about rejection? Are you thinking that, okay, when I go and talk about climate change now, and I'm talking to probably a professor or a doctor, this doctor might begin to drill me. Now, let me explain to you one thing. What you know is what you know. What a doctor knows is what they know. What an engineer knows is what they know. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter where you are. The whole thing is you believe in this, you set your mind in it, and you're going. So, and whosoever you're talking to, do not allow them to run you down. Stand your ground on your climate change advocacy that you're doing. If they ask you questions and you have no answers to, always tell the person, I can get back to you on this. We all cannot know everything. So in the field that you are today, there are lots of things you are yet to know. So when you talk to people, there will be challenges, but you have to stand your ground. But at the same time, you have to let them know, if you don't have an answer, I will get back to you. Do not let that stop you from what you have started today. So commit to the journey to your self-confidence. Setting out, identify and enhance the knowledge and skills you need to succeed. Focus on the basics. Don't get bogged down in details or reaching for perfection. There is no perfection. You can never be perfect. No matter what you do, you will never be perfect. So set small goals and achieve them. Pile up successes. Keep working on your positive thinking and self-talk. So most times we have to, when it comes to self-talk, you have to talk to yourself and have to educate yourself on some things, because you need to hear yourself. Say the things you say normally. And if they don't sound right to you, which means they are not right, then you go ahead and you fix them. Celebrate success. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, celebrate your success, keep yourself grounded, assess your current level of self-confidence and identify what strategies you can use by keeping and building it up. So what strategies do you want to use? You need to read more, listen to other people, go to conferences, attend seminars, and begin to learn. And when assignments or duties are given to you, go ahead and complete them. If you need help, call somebody to help you. There are lots of you there in the classroom. Reach out to somebody. Do not say, okay, if I reach out to him or her, she's going to laugh at me or he's going to laugh at me. It's okay for somebody to laugh at you. But the thing is, if the person laughs at you and also gives you solution to your problem, wouldn't it be better for you to just take the solution and also share in the laughter? Sometimes we need to laugh at ourselves too. So now we're going to talk about some of the ways to cope with climate change anxiety. Get educated about climate change. So if you are not educated in anything, there will be anxiety. Somebody will tell you, oh, climate change, it means it's doomsday. Or one day the flood will just come and take everybody like Noah's Ark. Or climate change is like, oh, maybe one day the sun will just burst open and something will happen. Or the temperature is going high. You know, they begin to make you feel uncomfortable and you begin to read things that are making you uncomfortable. All you have to do is ask questions, get educated on climate change, so that when you talk about it to the people you are talking to with confidence. Find concrete ways to make a difference. So how do you participate in the whole climate change thing? There are different ways. Like it says here, it says half of adults didn't know where to start in order to combat climate change. Okay, one of the things we can do is eating less red meat. They said eating less red meat can reduce carbon emissions. And I know that is one of the goals of this climate change advocacy, reducing carbon emissions. So participating in strikes and protests like those led by Greta, you can participate, you can create your own awareness program. You can create it within your community. It doesn't have to be international. In the little community that you are, you can talk to kids, you can drag other people in. You know what? Let's go around and clean up our community. Let's go around and begin to pick up all these bags, trash bags and nylon bags and plastic bottles, you know, recycle them instead of just putting them out there. There are different ways you can be part and parcel of making a difference as far as climate change is concerned. It's a reframe negative thoughts. So stop being negative about climate change. I know due to climate change, and there are some things that are coming up right now. We're talking about the electric cars. We are talking about some people are building their houses in a different ways right now. I know a lot of people that are using, like we're talking about right now, we're talking about like Africa Evolve. They're using bamboos to build their greenhouses. And they're using different methods to make sure that the moringa thrive that they're moving towards, as in the moringa green gold they're moving towards. They're using a different way to begin to plant moringa now in Africa. They have this program going on right now. So I cannot go deep into that, but we can share that later. But the process and the style that they're using right now is definitely with rules and regulations when it comes to climate change. So be part and parcel of all of that. And when you refrain from negative thoughts and focus on the positive things, then you realize that climate change is not to destroy you. Climate change is supposed to build you, make you stronger, and make you more innovative. Address all the stressors in your life, not just climate change. So what other things are stressing you? Because sometimes we can say, oh, this whole climate change thing is stressing me. But is it only climate change that is stressing you? There are 1,000,001 things that are stressing you. It can be studies, it can be family, it can be health. So take care of all of those things so that when you begin to communicate or talk about climate change, you can talk about climate change with peace of mind. Build yourself, build your resilience. Increased resilience can help you wither eco-anxiety. Evans recommends boosting resilience by continuing to develop a social network of friends and family. Strong social and emotional support has been linked to well-being. Material aid during times of adversity. Remember, I want to talk a little bit about strong social and emotional support. I remember some years ago in Nigeria, they had what they call family support program by then late Mariam Babangida. Now, family support program, we all know from communities that we have come from, that we are all supported by family. It is the whole adage of it takes a village to raise a child. So it also takes a village to support anything that we have to do. So there has to be that social network. Network with your friends, network with your family, network with the neighborhood that you come, network with people that have the knowledge of what you're seeking. So as leaders, because today we're talking about leadership, to be able to be a leader, because you have to, when you have to communicate, you have to know how to lead. If you don't communicate right, then you cannot lead. So self-esteem, the anxiety of climate change, communicating the message of climate change to everyone. How do you do it? You have to have you have to be a good leader. So talking about good leadership. So as a leader, you have to be able to convey your vision, engage people, manage capability, and achieve results. So I just have some few points here. Leaders as agents of change. Are you an agent of change when you call as a leader? Or are you an agent of crisis? If you don't know the right thing to do, then you will not know how to communicate it. Because as a leader, you are supposed to be an agent of change. We have the 3 unit effective change leadership. Say, communicate. Unsuccessful leaders tended to focus on the what behind the change. Collaborate, commit. Successful leaders made sure their own beliefs and behaviors supported change too. So if your belief and behavior does not support what you are doing, then you are not a good leader. And how do you now adapt to that climate change that you also are trying to talk to us about? It says, climate change involves taking practical action to manage risk from climate impact, protect communities, and strengthen the resilience of the economy. Adaptation can involve gradual transformation with many small steps over time, or major transformation with rapid change. So are you what you are preaching? Are you doing what you're asking other people to do? Can people listen to you and understand what you're saying? Are you patient? Excuse me. Are you also listening to others? Because for others to listen, to people to listen to you, you also have to listen. Are you carrying the right message? And if somebody comes to you to say they are leaders, for example, you go to a conference and you say, that was a wonderful speech. Oh, that speech was great. The question I have for you is, did the speech make you great? Because if that same speech you are saying was great did not make you great, then whosoever presented that speech did not communicate well as a leader to you. The speech was only great, but it did not make you great. So what are you doing today when it comes to climate change? Are you only trying to make yourself look great, or are you building a community? What is your purpose of being a leader? What is your purpose of taking the leadership training? Is it because you want to showcase yourself, or you want to showcase what is inside of you that you want to sell out there? Because for you to be a leader, it means you have to have something inside of you that you have to give to somebody. And that thing that is inside of you has to be something that will build both you and the community at large. Because it's not all about you. It's all about the community that you are. As far as climate change advocacy is concerned, it's not about just you. It's about the community at large, because it takes all of us. So it will take all of us to be able to make the changes that we need to make when it comes to climate change. It says leaders do not manipulate. Are you a manipulative leader? Because if you are manipulative, then you are not a leader. Because leaders do not manipulate. Leaders tell the truth. Leaders stand their ground as long as it is the truth. These days we have deal makers and not leaders. If you are just a deal maker, which means you are not going by rules and regulations, you are flipping, you are flip-flopping. Oh, if this one serves me right, then I'll go this way. If it serves me right this, then I'll go to the left or go to the right. So, but as a leader, that is not, you are not a deal maker. You are standing your grounds based on rules and regulations. Not, okay, you chop, I chop. If this one coming to me is going to give me something, then I will deal with this person. Even if the person does not have the ability to deliver what you want, just because you are getting a cut or you're getting a commission, you prefer to deal with that person. At the end of the day, the same person delivers the wrong thing. That is a deal maker. That is not a leader. And that is what we have around the world. Majority of the people that call themselves leaders today are deal makers, not leaders. So they're selling their community, selling their countries, selling their families. And to be a dealer can be in any form. It can even be in church, in mosque, where you let go of your principles just because there's a financial benefit or some kind of benefit that is not beneficial to the main cause. So as leaders, you are not seeking followers. You are becoming something themselves, because you are there to inspire people. You are there to focus on the people so that you can inspire them. But if you are just seeking followers, which means you can buy the crowd, you can pay people to just follow you. That is not what leadership is. So what are we doing today? Is there anyone amongst you, I don't know, I know the audio comes out bad when you try to speak, but if that can take the mic and tell us, how have you, just give us like just 1 minute or just 30 seconds, just tell us how you were able to show a leadership skill or attitude to your group. If it's one, even if it's Sam, anybody can take the mic. Tell us the leadership skill that you used to enable or support your team or your group or your community. Is there anyone there that can say something to us?
Okay, so this question is asking about our leadership skill, how you've been able to influence your own space, your own leadership skill to a particular terrain in terms of organizing projects and all that. So just want to have a view, a concept of how you've been able to do it. So who wants to talk about, you want to share your leadership skill with us? Anybody here? It's a free platform. Okay, please, thank you.
One thing I do the most is that I pay attention to details. And I know what I'm responsible of. If I'm to do a thing, I do it. And if there's we are working as a team. I try as much as possible to know what my partner also does. So I could always remind him or her of what is left to do. So in that manner, the work at hand is always fulfilled. That's how I own.
Anybody else? What's one for? Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I think concerning the leadership skills, basically is on the area, what I could say is on the area of team bonding and the influence. Sometimes, I believe that before you can't achieve it all alone, you need help from other people. So it's not about the idea about being a leader. It's the idea about making a change and gathering people, influence other people to work together to achieve the change. So through the two teamwork activities, I was able to carry out the project successfully. That if I did it all alone, I might not have achieved up to the purpose that I am today. Thank you.
Okay,
thank you very much. We appreciate that contribution, and we're still looking forward to also learning from you, because as you grow, eventually you get better, and we're looking to the fact that you have chosen to do this, and you have all the materials to enable you to do what you have to do. And that is why we are in this thing together, to stand for one another, support one another, and pursue this goal of climate change, adaptation, and advocacy together. So last but not the least, finally, Sam, do I still have any more time? Sam, do I have more time?
Time is almost exhausted, like it's almost off. We don't have much time for participants too.
Can you hear me?
We don't have much time left for you.
Okay, fine. So I am.
Can you hear
let's
me?
talk. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you.
When it comes to climate change and the anxiety, we are all part and parcel of all of that. When I started driving using a stick shift. I was doing the stick shift where you match the step on the clutch and move the car and all of that. Then I started driving an auto car. And it's all about using the gasoline or petrol for those cars. Now we're driving electric cars. Why are we talking about this? When it comes to any kind of change, it doesn't matter whether it's climate change, career change, change when it comes to location, any kind of change, there's always some kind of anxiety. And that's an area we all need to deal with as we pursue this thing of change. Look at change in every aspect of your life. And just know that there will always be changes. Do not panic when changes come. I see people even panicking right now when it comes to the vaccine. It is not the panic, it is the knowledge. Seek knowledge when changes are coming. Be prepared for those changes. Be ready, because changes will always come. And it is our ability to accept changes that will actually help us grow. So I advise all of us here today that please do not panic when changes come. Talk to people, get involved in things that are happening, speak your mind, ask questions, and most importantly, pray, because God will always give you an answer. The Holy Spirit will always minister to you and calm you down and help you focus on the right thing. That is how I have survived changes in my life from being single to being married to being mother to be from one career to another. And that is the only thing that has kept me going. Support from family and friends, and at the same time being involved and focusing on God to lead and guide me through the Holy Spirit. I thank you all today for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. I'm looking forward to continuing working with all of you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Emma, thank you so much for that wonderful session, and we are really grateful that you are able to join regardless of the network issues we had. I don't just know, but I am so grateful that you are able to join us in this section. Thank you so much again. And then Ms. Catherine is also into herbs. So like she was saying initial about moringa. So it's something that is encouraging young farmers as well into moringa farming. And not just that, apart from moringa too, is also other diversified ways she's been encouraging youths in particular. And then like as at on Wednesday, I was able to as well engage with some stakeholders about this moringa stuff, and even in Ocean State as well, I was engaged with some stakeholders as well about this moringa family. Something that would not just generate income, but will create job opportunities in Nigeria. And I know a whole lot of us after now would like to keep doing it. So thank you very much, Mr. Tetre, for coming, and then God bless. Please, you may
thank you.
if you don't mind. All right. You're looking tired, right? You're looking tired. Okay. Training workshops are always like that. My guy here can bear me witness. When we went for UNDP training from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So training workshops like these are always like that. But then we are so sorry for taking your time. We are almost done. Like if you look at your time, you discover that I think we are a little bit faster than yesterday, right? Even though we had more people talking to us today than yesterday. So, but before we go on a short break, we had this final discussion. Then we go on a short break. I know we are hungry, so please let's just try to pay attention to this short panel discussion. After that, we go on a short break. Then we do like a roadmap when we come back with that short break on how we can move forward, right? So permit me to welcome my boss on the IETV, in the person of Mr. Ifeoluwa Adesanya. And also, please let's welcome Mr. Samuel, the African ambassador to the IETV. Please, a round of applause for him. A round of applause for him. All right. So my humble self will be joining the IETV just to see the powerful people. Because I don't know when I will have this opportunity to join them and speak to them again, right? So permit me to humbly join the IETV and come and speak with my powerful leaders. All right. So we are talking about climate action. I know some of us are new into the climate action program, and I know some of us have been engaged in this kind of activities before, right? We are you, you are us. What do I mean by that? In this room now, we have young people seated, right? And this is the best time for us to say the truth to ourselves. So I will be starting from here. Just permit me to just moderate. I will start from here and invite the person of Mr. Obasanjo Fajemiroku. All right, so
we have the person of Mr. Obasanjo Fajandiroku. He's going to be talking on climate leadership. I deliberately gave my other that topic because I saw he has been doing some wonderful projects in the area of tree planting, and he's also an SDG person. So I know he's more than capable. And you people can bear me witness that is more than capable. So welcome with me, Mr. Obasanjo Fajandiroku. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. So while that comes up, I'm seeing many familiar faces here, and I'm so glad to see some of which I've trained before, and glad to see all of you making progress, like we shared in different places. So for others, my name is Obasanjo Fajandiroku, a quality education advocate, social entrepreneur, and founder of Praise of the Young, and I am also the current event and networking chairman, which is the program manager or program director of Yali RLC Alumni Chapter of Nigeria. And I'm glad to be at your midst. Most people I'm seeing here, I've met them at Teach for Nigeria training. Like Mr. Emmanuel said, he mentioned I'm a PC, which is program coordinator for Teach for Nigeria. I've worked with